huge fan of Spaceship. Get that out of the way first.
Really?
Yeah, we saw it a couple of years ago at LFF. So
great.
That was fantastic.
Oh,
this
Spaceship is my baby.
Yeah,
it's like, you know.
That's a fantastic film. We love that. I love that
Thank
film. This is a bit different. An action movie with Dave Bautista.
Yeah.
How did you first get involved, and kind of what was it that appealed to you about, you know, Dave Bautista and a football movie?
I actually didn't know he was attached in the beginning. I just, you know, got the script through, gave it a read, and was instantly like, this is great. It's action-packed. It's something I've never done before. It's a character to explore, and yeah, it wasn't until the kind of final recall stage that I realised Dave was attached, and there's this huge mammoth of a guy that I then had to, you know, suddenly act with, and but yeah, he was great to work with and great to bounce off, you know, start to learn about how he came into acting.
And when you were pitched the initial idea from Scott, who you worked with before, I mean, what was it about the character and the story that kind of appealed to you?
Well, the character wasn't really developed at all. It was sold to me like this. Well, it's basically, it's Die Hard in a football stadium. And I said, I love it. I love it. Tell me about the character. And the character originally wasn't written for me at all. So it was like a British military officer. And we just had to change the role. And again, I've said before, we didn't overanalyze everything. I didn't go and do any special type of training for this. We really just wanted to be more about the characters, more about the relationship, and more of just kind of a fun action thriller. So that's what we meant to create, and I think we were successful in that. So that's what it was.
There's a football movie being done at West Ham Football Club. Did you know at the time when you first signed that you were going to be throwing down with Dave Bautista?
Yes, I did. I think that's what really sold it to me, to be honest. You get a call for any film and it's fantastic, and the excitement's there and so on, especially for me at the start of my career. And then when I found out Dave was in it, it was like fantastic, awesome. It was a fantastic film to be part of. I have a good feeling that this will be a fantastic starting point for myself as well, going forward with what I want to get into and so on. I've done quite a few films, but for me this is the real special one that I want to really make the most of.
Wrong time to pick up a shift, I guess, for your character. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
He's totally unprepared and not expecting to be in this kind of situation. But as I said, he steps up and he really kind of proves his worth and becomes the sidekick for Dave Bautista, really.
Let me ask you how you first got involved, and what about this particular story that kind of spoke to you? You thought this would make a really good action movie?
Not the football, because I'm not a great football fan, but it was really, I read the first script back, it was kind of a crazy project where the location came first and the guys had done a script based around that, and there was this real gun to the head pressure that they were going to demolish the stadium, and there was a restricted time for him to do it. But the script that I read had like refreshing elements that I'd never seen before, and it was kind of a slant of the story that I hadn't seen before, and I like it when things are daring and you go into places that that normal filmers wouldn't. I think the thing that tipped me, honestly, was when they do when he reads out the terms when he holds the TV studio hostage, and you fully expect in those moments in a movie for the film to hold back, to not kill anyone, not shoot anyone, but the fact that they laid down waste to the whole room, I was like, this is great. I love it. I'm in. So from that point, it was great, and I like the guys involved.
Not to give any spoilers away, but what did West Ham say when you? I'm not going to mention any names, but there's a death in there.
There is, and but they embraced that, and that was like, we had fun with it. So it was like, look, the film is fun. It's kind of, there's absurdity all over. It's not taking itself too seriously, and that gave us some kind of room to move around the edges. It's not a documentary. It's not a serious thriller. It's a lot of fun, and obviously West Ham and the team and the stadium. We wrapped a lot of things around there and really got the support of the team and everyone involved. And I think, and they were very, very, if we hadn't had them welcome the film so much, it wouldn't be half the film it is today. So we were very grateful.
I mean, he seems like, and we've said to some of the guys before, that he seems very intense as an actor because he's an action star, but when he's off camera, he's like a big teddy bear.
Yeah.
Is that the same for you?
The same for me as in I'm a big teddy bear.
No, for him off, you can say it for but off camera, I mean, he seems like he's such a genuine, lovely guy.
Yeah, he definitely is, yeah. I mean, he's very he's very laid back and he's very nice, and, he is a teddy bear, he's soft, but at the same time, he's focused, he doesn't want any grief, there's no diva-ish about him, he's just, a normal guy, and he's just a person at the end of the day wanting to do his job, and I think that's really admirable for someone who's achieved so much in their career.
I mean, you've been in these obviously big, huge blockbusters that are in different galaxies and everything else, but this one, you're in an actual football stadium, and you kind of, Scott was saying, a lot of you lived in there, and you kind of made it your home. I mean, how was that different to all those kind of big movies that you made before?
It was wonderful. No, it was amazing. It sounds like a simple thing, but it's such a freeing, a liberating thing to not be confined to a stage and not be confined to a trailer. I mean, we had these great big suites as dressing rooms. And no, it was really great. I mean, we'd come and we'd have like the run of the stadium, and to go and, I mean, imagine it. So you're in this big, huge, empty stadium. You go and you open the doors and you slide out, and there's just a few people sprinkled out throughout the stadium, and you can hear them, like you can hear the echoes of them talking. It's like a church-like atmosphere. It was great. It was incredible.
Let me ask you about this fantastic fight sequence between you and Dave, because it feels so real, and I think that's the combination of you're in such a small space, but it feels like it's both of you throwing down, and that gives it such a great legitimacy.
It really was, and I mean, at times it was real. There was an incident with the glass beaker that you can ask Dave about, where he picked up the wrong prop and smashed the real beaker across my face. So that look of pain was a real look.
Let me ask you about, as an actor, stepping into kind of the action world, because I know you were in Breathe last year, which is obviously a very, very different movie to this. What was it like kind of logistically as an actor to get involved in all the action stuff and see Dave do his thing as he's going around?
Well, I was involved in one kind of big action sequence, the stunt, and it's like learning a dance, really. It's like choreography. You would come in and rehearse it day after day, and it's a different discipline to playing a scene, which is very intimate, which I got to do as well, and especially on Breathe. But it's all part of the job, you know. You're kind of you're performing, and whether you're doing a big set piece or playing a scene, it's all part of the job, and in very enjoyable parts. Well.
Yeah. How was it logistically to film at a football stadium? Because normally, I guess, when you make a movie, you're in different locations or you're on a set that you've designed, but this is kind of there as it is, so you have to kind of maneuver yourself.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, truthfully, because what happens is, one is we knew we had to kind of embrace what we had, so embrace the stadium, use the stadium, and use everything we can in it, and that's good because you can kind of start in one corner, flip to the next, and film things and bounce between, and it's a very efficient way of making a movie, because ultimately, we have a restricted budget and we're making a big movie. But the downside is obviously you also have to live there for the best part of like 3 months, which is what we did. We moved into the stadium and we converted the boxes into bedrooms, and literally, it was like at best it was like a student dorm, and at worst it was like a prison, So it was like we experienced it through and through, But in that time, you got to love the stadium and love and I think the film is very much like, it's a very nice love song to the stadium itself, and it really kind of locks it forever. And it's nice to have it kind of remembered in the way it is. So it was good the way it turned out.
You get the double whammy as well with this one, where you get to share some time with Pearce Brosnan, 007, who is my 007 because of when I was born and when I watched James Bond. I love Daniel Craig, but he's the best. I mean, what was it like to just share some time with someone like that who's done so much in his career?
Yeah, I mean, it was kind of, I guess when you're doing a job, you don't really kind of take into account what's going on. You're there to play the role and carry out, and, take part in the story and make sure that's followed through. But at the end of the day, I was running into the arms of 007, which was great. I mean, he is equally, just unbelievably down to earth. It's really refreshing to know that someone at the top of their game doesn't have to do a lot to stamp their ground and make a point of being who they are.
Yeah. You worked with Daniel Craig on Spectre.
Yeah.
In this one, you got to tick off Pearce Brosnan, 007. I mean, it must be fantastic to work with two actors, but also someone like Pearce who's had such a varied and amazing career.
Yeah, it was weird. It still is weird to think about. It's a very surreal thing, and it's weird. I almost get emotional about talking about Pearce, because Pearce, I respected him, admired him so much beforehand, as an actor, but that's all I knew him as. And on set, we didn't talk much about acting at all. He's a very spiritual person. I don't know if you've ever had a conversation, but he is a very deep person. And we talked about life in general a lot, and just stuff that he's been through in his life. And he's really like a beautiful man, like inside and out. And outside, he's so handsome. I have a little man crush on him. I couldn't stop staring. Like, God, Pearce, you're so beautiful. But inside, he's just a deep, good-natured person. I just have so much respect for him.
Because I mean, he seems like we've talked to these people about the actors, should I say, about how nice he is. But when he's ready to go, he is ready to go. I mean, was that great as an actor, as yourself starting out, to see what he's achieved and how kind of focused he is?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like me and Dave have a great relationship off set as well, and it was so easy to film and work with Dave. He's like, he really is a true professional, but he also makes you feel very comfortable in his presence, which for anyone that's going into a film with a name as big as Dave is, it's a great feeling of comfort, to be honest.
Let me ask you about working with Dave Bautista. I mean, he was such a scene stealer in Guardians of the Galaxy, and he's gone on to do all these amazing action movies and become a big star. What was it like working with him? Because he seems like, even though he's very intense as an actor, as a person, he seems like quite a kind of gentle giant, if you like.
Yeah, absolutely. Very kind of down to earth, very gentle, very generous as well as an actor. And it was really, a real honour to kind of work with him, because he's obviously done a lot of, in his recent years, done a lot of big movies, and he was really kind of behind this film as a producer as well. And we kind of stayed in touch afterwards, and he's kind of like almost become like a big brother. So he's great talent, and I'm looking forward to seeing what he does next.
Absolutely. Finally, a quick word on Dave Bautista. I mean, I think you worked with him before on a movie a couple of years ago. I mean, what made him perfect for this, and what does he bring to a movie like this? Because he's such a force of nature.
Yeah, he's totally force of nature. And when I worked with Dave the first time, I think he was kind of under, like, people didn't know his potential, and I was lucky that I'd worked with him and realised that there was a lot more there for Dave to do, and a lot more that he wanted to do. So going in from the start, he was involved with the script, and he was involved with the production, and he really kind of dug in, and you use your assets and you use what you've got. So we really were aware of Dave and how he is and his physicality, and really were like, the fun element of this film is you get this guy mulching his way through the bad guys. Do you know what I mean? And you have to kind of work around that too. Like, we have to cast bad guys who can be a threat. So that's why we end up like hiring Martyn, who I saw around. There you go, who's down there? Who's like, you know what I mean? The only person on earth who's a bit bigger than Dave. And so it's so it was a lot of fun, and Dave was awesome. So great to work with again. Yeah.
I mean, you're still at the early stages of your career. What are you hoping to achieve? Are you hoping to go to America at some point, or do you have any projects lined up that you're excited about?
It's kind of every actor's dream to kind of get as far as they can, I think, to play the sort of roles that make a point and, are slightly, that's activism at the same time, and, it's proving something at the same time, telling stories and trying to make sense. But yeah, it's a hard industry, and I guess getting to where you want to be, there's never a top. There's never I guess you're always challenging yourself. So.
It's a great popcorn movie. Are you hoping that people will have a great time watching this one? I can imagine.
Yeah, this is just it's one of them thrills. Do you know what I mean? It's a film you want to put on with the lads and have a beer, watch it and get excited and want to watch it again and again. It's like you said, it's not a film that's going to sit you there and you're going to be trying to work out the plot all the way through. But it's going to be a film which really drives the blood and gets you going.
Yeah, and just as you say, next I know that we've worked with Liam Neeson on a new movie. Can you tell us a little bit about that and your role in that one?
So it's quite a serious drama about cancer, actually, and Liam Neeson and Leslie Manville, who was nominated for an Oscar last year, they play a married couple, and Leslie gets her character gets breast cancer and has to go through chemo, and I play the partner of another cancer patient. So I got a few scenes with Liam Neeson because we're kind of in a similar situation of caring for cancer patients, and it's beautifully written script and a real honour to kind of work with Liam and Leslie.
And there's a double act in this one. Are you up for sequels if the opportunity should arise?
Oh yeah, I'll sign the contract tonight if it's available.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be.
We were thinking maybe the Super Bowl next time.
That's a good idea. It's a great idea. Or wrestling.
Yeah, and Faisal's been kind of shipped over. And,
it's on holiday or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Amit, nice to meet you.
Lovely to meet you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey